Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the 10th episode week. Yeah, we haven't skipped a single one. So the 10th episode of Trust Issues.
We skipped Christmas.
We did. You're right. Damn it. Okay, I was so close. I thought I was on to something
Or Christmas
there.
Eve. Christmas Eve.
All right, the 10th episode, the 11th week. Emily, how are you doing? It's good to see you.
Hello. So good. Man, the number of boomers that I assist on a regular basis that have called me about the price crashes has really burned me up. Okay.
You know, I've only fielded one, and it was from my brother-in-law, and he's younger than me.
That's not a boomer.
I didn't say it was.
Oh, okay. Anyways,
I just said the only people who ever ask me about crypto prices are all millennials.
And we know that boomers aren't people, so that's an important clarification.
I feel like you're forgetting what our 97% of our demographic here is on this platform every time you do this.
It was a joke. I was joking.
I'm just
making fun. Are they that sensitive? I hope not.
No.
We should have given them more participation trophies.
I did not get enough. I'll say that right now. Actually, I just found, I don't know why I just said just found, but like recently, the last time we were digging through just like old random stuff, I have a handful of like little awards ranging all the way from like winning a spelling bee in first grade to reading rocket trophies, also from first and second grade.
Nice.
And then we used to have field day.
I'm happy to know someone whose academic excellence has such a long lineage. That's impressive.
I come from a long line of academics, and I am one of the dumb ones. My parents are both Yale PhDs with a pile of other degrees.
Shouldn't you have been able to get in on nepotism? Isn't that what they do there? Legacy.
Probably,
sorry, they call it legacy.
Yeah, legacy.
That's what I mean, legacy, not nepotism.
Fun fact and true story. I didn't want to. Not because I didn't want to go to the school or carry on the legacy or all that sort of stuff, but when I first went into undergrad after high school, I declared a major of zoology, and the only school in the state of Michigan that offered that program was either Michigan State, which was too big, and all my friends from high school went there, and I didn't want to go there, and Northern Michigan, where I ended up going, and that was the farthest away I could get and still be in the same state to get in-state tuition. So I went to Northern.
Huh.
And plus, it's in the UP, and the UP is gorgeous and beautiful, and it was on Lake Superior.
And
that was awesome.
I would have to confess some of my family lineage had you gone to Michigan State, but now I don't need to. I remain mysterious.
I was in 3 different high schools out of 4 years, and the one that I graduated from, I graduated with 900 people, and I didn't really know any of them, and I would say 60% of them went to Michigan State, and so I was just like, I'm not doing that.
Well, I went to UC Santa Cruz, and we are famous for smoking weed and being the banana slugs. So,
I see the comment. Yay for college. Sad they're actively advocating against it. I would say 100%. Like, not everyone on Earth needs to go to college, but the mark of the fact that they really, 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 really prefer it when we're stupider that's the reason that we just demonize higher education. And it's not to say that every college is perfect and there's no problems and there's nothing that could be fixed or whatever, but in general, yeah, the whole like it's a blanket scam is silly.
I want the more like European mindset where it's not a good fit for everybody.
Certainly not.
Many people should go to trade school. Many people are better suited for other things. But by all means, if you're a fit for college, please go.
Would you say that it's good to have options and that you should just get to go to the place that you want to go and learn the stuff you want to learn?
Yes, 1,000%. And like, I'm so sorry for people with student debt, but I went on Portugal scholarship, so that's not me.
Yeah, I was very fortunate. This school was not super expensive, and I was able to get at least a couple scholarships for cello. That was one. I was in the orchestra.
Cello. I played the cello in 5th grade,
I started
as
in
was
5th grade.
required. There you go, man. Look at you. You know what? You're like a low key fancy white boy, and I think you do your best to hide that fact.
What?
Mister, both my parents have Princeton PhDs. I played the cello from 5th
Yale.
grade all the way till, Yale, not yellow, all the way through
Now.
high school, to the point that I got, still now. Oh, okay. That I got a scholarship for it. Look at you. You think you can fool us with your gauged ears and your sleeve tattoos? Nice try, buddy.
It's right there.
Put your wood away. This is absurd.
That's a quality item. All right. Should we perhaps stray to the topic of the night? We have 2.
Yes. Oh my God. I'm so excited.
Yeah. So first, we're going to talk about corruption because, good Lord. So Forbes published an article today that very simply just stated that good old CZ, our favorite, our Lord and Savior, owns 87%. 87%. That is 4.6 billion out of 5.7 billion dollars worth. 87%. 87 of USD1, the stablecoin. Trump's World Liberty financial stablecoin.
Do you know what my favorite part about that is?
What?
That means that USD1, according to the Clarity Act, is not properly decentralized.
Thanks.
That's my favorite part.
Yeah. The 3 facts that you need to be aware of when considering this and how it makes you feel are 1, that CZ owns 87% of USD1. 2, he was recently pardoned by the owner and creator of USD1. And 3, that's $4.6 billion of ownership. That's diabolical. Diabolical.
Okay. So I think we should revisit. I think we talked about this on like one of our very first episodes. But I think we should revisit where the first investment of USD1 came from into Binance.
Yes. Remind us.
Yeah. Okay. So let me just get my detailies straight before I misinform people, because as we know, corrections and redactions are never read. So,
I see a comment. Must be why he disabled Twitter replies. Did CZ do that? I'm curious.
Well, so did Taylor Lorenz, and they're like basically the same person. I've never seen them in the same room, so.
Me neither. Never seen either one of them in any room. I don't know. I just like. I think the part about like the how flagrant this is like what does it for me. It's just like we're not even trying to like obfuscate it or like hide it in any way, shape, or form. Which is like in one sense, like, hey, you know what? Okay. But in the other sense, it's like, so if we think about the 2 people who have like the largest positions in 2 specific tokens that have come out of that whole ecosystem, USD1 being one, and then the meme being the other, it's like Justin Sun with the Trump meme, and it's CZ with the stablecoin. That just diabolical.
Yeah.
What do they have in common?
You know what? It's absolutely insane. Okay, so here we go. Okay. I got my timeline. I got my facts straight so I don't misinform people, because nobody would ever hear me correct myself.
Walk us through.
Anyways. Okay, so MGX is a Abu Dhabi sovereign investment fund.
Okay.
And they're focused almost entirely on tech, and they are backed by UAE, United Arab Emirates. I think they made a $2 billion investment into Binance but the investment came in the form of USD1. And I believe this was about 37% of the total supply of USD1 at the time. And for our new listeners, USD1 is the stablecoin issued by World Liberty Financial, the Trump family institution. Okay, so let's see. And then right after that, CZ got pardoned.
Mm-hmm.
So now they've increased their holdings. Would you say they're at 87% now? So they've increased their total holdings by 50%?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay, sorry. Actually, that deal happened in last May. And at that time, it was 93% of the total supply.
Does it say how much that was? Like, how much has it gone up since then? Like, how much has total supply?
Okay, so at that time, the total supply was 2.15 billion. So the 2 billion investment was approximately 93% of the total USD1 supply. So there, the MGX is, very arguably the only reason that it was able to exist, right? Okay, so today they're at a 5.4 billion supply, which means that, and you said it was 87%?
Mm-hmm. The figure from the Forbes article was 5.7 billion total, with 4.6 billion. I'll pull up the article here and throw it on the screen. Stand by.
7%. My God.
Here we go.
Oh man, someone else loves crypto. I love that. We love crypto.
Okay, so here is.
You just said I'm going to pull up the article and you brought us to Twitter?
Well, okay.
Dog.
Well, I don't pay for Forbes, so I don't know
if
it's going to Fine. Yeah, see?
So normally I break through paywalls on AI. I just
Hold on.
I just give them a link and they just have it for me. It works really good.
I will allow the ads for this. So here we go. There we go.
Let's make it bigger.
And TikTok, hold on. I'm going to turn my phone around so you guys can see it. 1 second. All right. I'm going to try to do the scroll and all this at the same time.
My God, who's amazing?
Whoop.
I don't know who they're talking about.
Oh, okay. There we go. Okay. They're talking about you, dude.
Oh, me? What?
Little old me.
My God, will you tell my child? Because she thinks I suck. She's mad at me.
Okay,
dude,
so
listen. Oh, sorry. I'll tell my drama later.
No, it's okay. I was just gonna say that for anyone just jumping in, this is the Forbes article, which you can find through their. They posted this on Twitter a few hours ago, this afternoon, and here's the article. So Binance, whose founder was pardoned by President Trump, now holds 87% of the stablecoin. Scroll down a little bit.
So let's just take the fam on the journey that I take myself on when I really want to break into this stuff. Let's find out who is the market maker for USD1 on Binance.
So while you pull that up, just a couple bullets so that then I'll scroll away from this, just because I'm 99% sure nobody can read this on the phone. It's very tiny. So between its own wallets and user accounts. So I would like to know then what the actual supply held on their own wallets is. I wonder if where does this take me? Oh, okay. This takes me to Arkham. So we'll look at that in a second. Perfect. 87% of all USD1 in circulation, roughly 4.7 billion of the 5.4 billion total supply, the highest concentration at any third-party exchange amongst the top 10 stablecoins by market cap as of Monday, using analysis from Arkham's data, which we'll go to in a second. Arkham is like a blockchain
I love Arkham.
explorer.
That's exactly where I was going to figure out who was using who's their market maker. Man, Arkham's great. Arkham's so much fun.
So it looks like World Liberty Financial may be deepening the concentration in late July, 2 days after Binance announced a promotion where all USD1 holders would be awarded $40 million in one of their other crypto products, which is the WLFI token. The crypto venture World Liberty Financial transferred about that much worth of WLFI to Binance, which tracks. Although I will say, I don't know, maybe Emily, maybe you know more about this than I do. Whenever we used to do like anything, or whenever I've ever tangled with like something wherein like you're giving away like tokens from something, we did a few contests back in the day where some like, you know, things that were TGEing, we like gave away some. We never took custody of any of it, which is, I guess, I don't know, maybe it's different because it's Binance, but
this is a fun feature. So Arkham has started putting up like summaries, which, you know, if you're someone who likes truthiness, that's like a nice place to get your truthiness, because it's literally just summarizing the recent major activity that's happened. And the last two recent activities that I see, and I have to like look into these for dates, but it says that World Liberty 5 burns 3 million USD1 and reissues 121K from a null address, which is like fishy. And World Liberty 5, 12.5 million USD1 strategic reserves transfer and 49.5 million top holder decrease.
Okay, here we go. So this, let me see if I can make this big enough. So these are USD1's top holders per Arkham.
Yeah.
And here are the wallet, the final wallet addresses, and then you could copy the entire address out and take it to the Direct Explorer. But these are all Binance wallets. So the top three right here. And if we pull over, here's the total that we were just looking for.
Just go to the other tab. What you want is top flows, and that'll tell us who the market maker is.
Oh, well, I was letting you look for that while I just looked for which wallets were holding how much. Because the article specifically said 87% total across their own wallets and then user accounts. And I don't like that they're throwing user accounts in there. That could be gigantic.
I know, but wow.
Here's one wallet with $2.45 billion worth sitting in it. And then the next one down has 840 million. The next one down has 830 million. And then the next one.
Those are not users. That's absurd.
No, these are Binance's wallets.
Oh yeah, okay.
These are all flagged Binance cold and hot wallets.
So
the hot wallets look like they max out at 200 million. There's a $200 million one, a $106 million one, a $105 million one. Now we're into other exchanges. Back over to Binance for another $45 million, but that top big one is a Binance cold wallet at $2.45 billion.
Dollars.
Woof.
That's so many dollars.
That's a lot of dollars.
I don't even know what to do with that many dollars.
That is a tremendous number of dollars.
I'd be like, I bought a rare Labubu. Now what?
Okay, so the market maker. What? Which piece of the dashboard were you saying you would look at to find that?
In the page you were on entity balance changes. You want to look at top flows.
Okay. I
don't know what. That's a lot. That's $10 billion. What is humidify? No, it's millions. Sorry, they moved their fucking. What is this?
Humidify is another. It's a DEX market maker.
Oh, well, they're one of their core market makers. Let's find out.
Okay.
Oh, on Solana, you say?
I believe so. I would look and see if they do more than one chain, but I know for a fact that you remember that. Did you see the
Trump coin? Like Trump coin?
The wet token. That's theirs. That's Humidify.
Oh, I know Wet Leg. Is that the same?
I have no idea. It was a recent TGE. Like
they're a band.
Oh,
sorry, but thought you liked music.
I listened to a lot of Otis Redding and Etta James.
Okay. My God, are you 90? Anywho.
Not a day goes by, Emily, that I don't think to myself how hard we all got robbed that Otis Redding died in his 20s. Not a day goes by.
Unfortunate. They don't hold that much in their portfolio. Let's see. They've only got 13K or so, which is probably just their exchange fees. I need to look at their volume. I don't know, man. I should have had a beer if I was going to be doing this. And I went the other direction. So, anyways, the absurd amount of money that is stored on Binance, I believe I believe tells you a lot about the main holders of that token. And, you know, they're saying, Jay thinks I blew you off. Whatever, dog. Just give me some time when I can use medicine. So anyways, so there's a profile of individuals based on what centralized exchanges they want to use. And Binance, as a centralized exchange, is not available to Americans. It's available strictly to the Chinese. And as you recall, last time Trump was in office, Ivanka was very present, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, Ivanka was granted this bizarre universal patent for like her clothing by the Chinese government, which is like super strange. And we haven't really heard from her since. So, I mean, I can't recall seeing her at all related in any
not this time
connection to Daddy this time around. So it kind of makes you wonder, like, what is going on politically with the ties in China, where Binance is very freaking popular, versus something like, you know, Coinbase. And yeah, you know, I don't know. Like, there's more to like dig in. We should talk to like Adam Cochran. I bet you he'll have a freaking heyday.
I think,
but like, honestly, it just stinks like shit. It's like,
well, I'll tell you the biggest problem is that so I'll tie in a couple things. So on the morning show for the past, well, mostly on Monday, and then a tiny bit this morning, but you know, not to beat a dead horse, we talked about the Coinbase ad from the Super Bowl, and so my read on it was, you know, that like, okay, I understand what we're going for. Honestly, like for me as someone who's here, I get it. It was funny. It was catchy. Okay, cool. To everybody else,
oh my God, we're back again.
Nailed it. For everybody else, everyone who I asked that I know personally that is not really into crypto, you know, is aware of it, doesn't really care. They were all like, okay, yeah, I kind of get it, but like, I didn't really care that it was Coinbase. Aren't they doing some wonky stuff with, you know, like PAC contributions? And then isn't there also?
Oh my God, they listen to our show? Love that. Okay, anyways,
this is just like this was my final takeaway from it is like more people now know about crypto than at any point in history. Like, you know, awareness is growing.
Absolutely.
And it's, I would say, I don't, you know, to make up a statistic off the top of my head here, 75% bad. You're pretty hard pressed to find someone who like just discovered it, but discovered it in like a favorable way. And so this is my big problem, because we live and work here in this industry that requires onboarding new people. And the only thing that anyone new knows about this is basically what this administration has done with regards to crypto. And that was really put on display. Just the other day, there's a creator on TikTok that I really, really like. Emily, I don't know if you've ever seen these people, but so there's two. One is Alexis and Dean, and they have a really, really good channel. Alexis will like frame a question and then ask Dean, and Dean like gives an explanation, and that's kind of the format. And then there's this other creator who does the same thing with her mother, and she breaks down mostly like economic and political topics and just kind of explains how things are connected. And she was asked something about I think the topic was like ethical investing, was the idea of, you know, not exclusively picking an investment based on its ability to return, but also trying to, you know, keep in mind your own personal values and morals, and you know, invest in a way that you can feel good about.
So these people would annoy me. Okay.
Sure. And I mean, for the record, that's exactly how I participate in the markets. I don't feel good about like sending all of my money to things that I hate. I think that's the very nature of voting with your dollar. So anyway, so inevitably,
it's economically ineffective. I can give you a regression if you would like to see it. Anyways, continue.
I know that you're right, but I don't care.
I know.
I don't care enough about money.
I know you don't care. Anyways.
To do that. Anyway, the point is that she walked to crypto throughout the ethics of investing because lots of people are not ethically okay with cryptocurrency because the only thing they know about it is what has ever been in the news for the last year and a half. And I had a huge problem with the video because it was basically all misinformation. So the entire premise of the video was conflating some stuff that really doesn't deserve to be in the same breath. So her example of a bank that was doing a good job was like a very tiny local community credit union branch in some small town that does like
union's not a bank. Okay, anyways.
That does like, you know, local reinvesting and small loans to local businesses and all this kind of stuff. Like on the paper,
very
sounds
cute.
Great. Phenomenal. Love it. And then on the other side of the video, the only example of cryptocurrency was the Trump meme and WLFI.
It's my favorite coin. Okay.
And so like 100% in a vacuum with tunnel vision, looking at exclusively those two things, itty bitty tiny family community bank and WLFI or the Trump meme. Yeah, sure. Easy peasy. But like, and so for me, it did two things. One, it pissed me off. And two, it just goes to show that like, if you hear something this many times from this many places that is all focused on the same thing, what motivation do you really have to look further? And at a time when everyone is inundated and exhausted, the last thing that anyone cares about is like whatever new rich person grift is happening. And if, we're going to say crypto is the thing that's going to do that, then yeah, I'm not going to look any further and I'm going to just, you know, let it go. And I'm fine with my negative opinion of it. I don't need anything to do with it. Despite the fact that like exactly the way that she described a community bank is like kind of the whole point of DeFi. And
you know, ignorance is bliss. Maybe there's just not enough space in her brain to handle it.
But no, because I reject that because this, and I know that you don't know who I'm talking about, but this particular person
I've never seen him.
Is so thorough and so in depth on so many things and like explores the nuance of so much stuff. And it really caught me off guard to see like such a bad take.
To see extreme bias and unwillingness to actually pursue investigating something because they got a headline tertiary level of information and decided that was true.
Yes.
Doesn't that sound like a lot of America right now? Okay. Anyways, that is very funny to me. However, I forget why we got to this topic. I feel like I should recenter myself.
No, we were just talking about how, you know, as we're exploring the, you know, the way that World Liberty Financial and the news about how much of the stablecoin is owned by who, the fact that like that's the article about crypto that Forbes is publishing, and people who read Forbes are not, you know, that's not an exclusively crypto friendly audience, right? Like it's a huge audience.
Yeah, sure.
So yet again, here's another thing that is being told on the national, international stage.
I love you too, Ashley. Yeah, sorry. Anyways.
That's unfavorable and bad.
Yeah,
and
we're
just out here like with a megaphone saying the worst stuff.
I know, man. If I really want a villain here, I'm going to blame the 24-hour news cycle, which we are currently contributing to. So you're going to have to accept that one. But here's the thing. Back when you had to read the newspaper and you got the newspaper every morning, and if you lived in a city, maybe you got it in the morning and at night, there's a finite amount of information that you're going to like put into the letter press, right? And like be able to print your paper and like do all that jazz. Because that is a lot of labor and there's only so much time and there's only so many stories that can fit into that time frame. Okay. And then we have like radio coming out, and radio is able to talk about more of this, but you know, you have to have a radio to listen to radio. Anyways, okay. And then we get television, right? And there's like 2 channels to start on television, and you just kind of like turn it on and you get it, and that's it. All right. Like that's There is no like special private broadcasting, whatever. And then it just went off at like 10 p.m. There was nothing happening. Okay. And then they started to realize that like the more hours that they're on, the more ads they can sell. And the more ads that they can sell, the more money they make. And as soon as news became about profit and less about information, we just got sent down this path, right? This path, I think it's basically unrecoverable at this point, because even when I try to seek out high quality information just to compare it to the absolute, like, I don't know, dirty diaper crap that I get on social media, and like get real information, it's just not easy to access. Like I almost instantly hit a paywall, and like, I don't know if I want to pay for your paywall. I've never seen your publication before. This is crazy, right? Like we self-nerfed on this one. We just like took the cyanide pill. Like that's it. Like there's no way around it. And I do believe that social media has made a very nice environment for citizen journalism. But the thing about journalism is that's a trade. That's a skill set. And you go and you learn a lot of things about how to do it ethically and properly, since, we like ethics so much. And if you do
like a dig. That's a weird dig.
It's not a dig. I like ethics.
Like a dig.
I'm not like,
I don't know. You just flame me for being an ethical investor.
well, because all you really need is money, and you can't make a lot of money that way. And then if you have money, you can change the ethics. I know you reject that, obviously, but I'm going to force...
literally every movie villain says.
I know, but I'm going to force an econometrics equation like right down your gullet to make you understand my path. Okay, so anyways, you're so mad at me. You're so mad. I know you don't care. You sound just like that TikTok person you're complaining about. Take the data and make an informed decision. Okay, so anyways, then we end up basically where we are, right? Where it's very hard to get real information. It's very hard to get the in-depth activity. You're basically limited to like data if you know how to extract it, and scientific journals, but scientific journals even still are questionably authentic because of the bargain that goes on in the scientific community, especially in like the dick riding status climbing that happens. So, man, why is this bitch calling me difficult? You're difficult. Your name is difficult to say. Anyways, so like what?
You cannot let yourself, you're not following, like you're nowhere near like the correct time with comments that come through. They're in response to things you said seconds ago. You just say your thing. No, you're fine.
Fine. Okay. Anyways, I don't know how to do this. So, all right. So we end up in this like absolute vacuum of information. The information is inaccessible, and we're being blamed for not having access to the information. And people are making these uninformed opinions that are going through like the best Brita filter you have ever experienced. And it is so horrifically sanitized down to whoever's got the most money to push this information. Okay. And you just made me do the thing you told me not to do. So like we end up in this like, I know, we end up in this like horrifically sanitized version of the truth, right? The truth cannot break through at this point. And the only way to actually break the truth through is to have community and conversation, but like the community and conversation, unless you're doing it in person, is constantly corrupted by ads and the algorithm. So like basically they just dug us a giant grave and they stuffed us in there. So that's where we're at with all of this. And it's so easy to fall victim to it. And I can't responsibly blame anybody for it, right? It's like, I can't be mad at somebody for making a judgment call on something that they don't understand. That's insane. The only thing you can actually do is try to teach them about it. But if they, only heard like mean girl gossip about your thing, and then you go and try to talk to them, all they're going to think about you is mean girl gossip, and they already made an opinion on it. And it's so like the race the race of information is so much more important than the facts. And I don't mean this like as my personal weighting of things. I mean that it is so hard to change what somebody believes after they've been told something first. And that's what I was saying at the start, where you make a redaction or a correction to an article or something, and nobody sees it. They don't take that information in. They don't process it. It's just gone. Whatever you say first is the thing that will be remembered, and you will constantly be trying to argue people off of that cliff for the rest of time. Like, that's it. And that's where we are with crypto. Because most people get stuck in these like literal pig butchering scams, which is insane. It's like the modern day Nigerian prince. It's like watching grandma open an email with her like 7 free hours of AOL and, getting something from the Nigerian prince. And every time you look at her and you're like, grandma, why you? Why would it be you? Of all the people, why you living on Social Security? Does the Nigerian prince want you to help him unlock his money? And it doesn't matter. Like that's where we are. That's it.
But see, you're also tapping into one of the reasons why it's next to impossible to combat, because the overwhelming majority of people who are aware of how all of that works are exasperated, tired, and have no patience to like sit here and be empathetic to the fact that it's just nightmarishly difficult to navigate if you don't have a foundation upon which to do that.
So like half the things that I do, and like I'm just gonna provide an anecdote here. Half the things that I do when I'm like helping literally my hairdresser and her friends, who like had a friend that helped them buy a ton of crypto a long time ago, and now they have like a ton of money in crypto, and they like don't know, they're like scared to touch it, especially because they're like 3 versions of Bitcoin behind. They like they don't know how to use the stuff, and it's so clunky. It's like so difficult to use. And I know that you're big on like crypto as a financial tool. I think it is a great financial tool, except that like I'm more into crypto as a decentralized data tool. And like that's, like just like a difference of opinion, or like what things difference us from the first place. How are you talking to all these people? Whatever. But like it's a tricky thing. It's a tricky thing to try to rationalize to people who don't have much beyond how to use a checkbook or what their, APR is on their mortgage rate or what an amortized loan is, right? And like even that is like a pretty high level of sophistication when it comes to understanding finance. And then we have crypto, and crypto is, as long as you're not just using a centralized exchange, you have access to a lot of these tools that have made people on Wall Street like literal billionaires, and they have also created every black swan event we have ever seen, and they've done it on purpose. So like we are in this, no matter what, however you enter crypto, you're getting thrown directly into the deep end, and people are constantly changing the tools and how they work and what they do. And someone, during a bull run, I guess, when crypto is going way up, it's just impossible to enter the market safely by yourself. Like someone's going to come to you and they're going to say, hey, like if you give me $10, I'll give you back 20. And you're like, cool, I guess I'll try $10. And then they give you back 20 and they build trust. And they're like, hey, if you give me $50, I'll give you back 100. And you're like, really? That sounds great. You gave me back 20 when you said 10. So why wouldn't you give me back 100 this time? And they'll do it. And then they'll say, if you give me $1,000, I'll give you $5,000. And they might even do that depending on how rich you are. And then it goes up to 10. And they're like, if you give me $10,000, I'll give you $100,000. And like that cost of doing business was very, very small to them to make like 50% returns on what probably took 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. So yeah. And like, we're working in American dollars. Anywhere in the world, it goes way down.
You got to consider the downside of every upside. Like one of the things that we've talked about as being one of the most incredible pieces of this whole tech stack being the access to capital and capital vehicles that didn't exist before for people who never had a way to get into that before, or had a way to turn something that they have into usable capital before. But at the same time, of course, when you lower the barrier to entry to anything, I mean, you make an accidental trip into that same thing, just as easy.
Yeah, but like, I mean, this is a double-edged sword, right? This is like the definitive double-edged sword because you either need a high level of education to have access to high level financial tools to have the ability to make great returns, or you require education, which makes it absolutely impossible for the everyday person to make the investments that, you know, change their overall class in life, right? Or like help you, you know, really step through the American dream. So that's a tricky thing. And Michi Rose mentioned leverage, and that brings us to Michael Saylor, except you said we were capped at an hour. So
no, I mean, go for it. Why not? Because
okay.
this is one of those things that
This is my favorite thing right now.
It's come up before. I think it's worth talking about just because for years, for like at least the last 2 years, and this was, you know, however many thousands and thousands of Bitcoin ago. I don't know why more people are not like very afraid of Michael Saylor. Like, I don't know why it took so long for people to not be stoked to hear that they bought more. Like,
because
at what point,
he had a very fun movie and it explained why everybody lost their houses. Therefore, he must be a hero, not that he made all the money on the way down.
it's just that even in a vacuum, like that much in one place, like should be scary, especially
The power
when we're
of
just
education.
like overly debting to buy more of it is
Oh God, it's crazy. Okay, so I did want to talk about this because it's directly related to the market drop, right? Like,
I'll keep going, but I'll tie in one thing that's even more relevant to the beginning topic of the entire hour here. We talked about obviously CZ and how much of USD1 is owned over there in the Forbes article. One of the ways, if you watch the morning show, that Will constantly like throws an ingredient into the prediction pot when we're trying to talk about like where could prices of whatever go. What's the thing that he always considers? The Binance specific liquidation heat map. Where does CZ and Binance make the most money if price goes? And that is the most relevant one of all of the liquidation heat maps that exist. Binance's is the most relevant.
because Binance absolutely cooks. Binance makes so much money. Okay, so so this one like absolutely kills me because people love Michael Saylor, and I don't know why. So if you don't know Michael Saylor, one, he's like not even hot. Two, man, this guy just
that was what I was gonna say.
He's not even hot. Okay. Two, he just loves to like prey on the retirement funds, like specifically the retirement funds of middle America. And that is very gross is what it comes down to, right? These are people who literally like physically work their body as a machine every single day. And he's like, suck my dick. Okay, so here we are. Michael Saylor kind of sucks at a lot of things. The only thing he's really good at is creating an MLM is what it comes down to. Or I guess really a Ponzi scheme because he isn't ever paying like the people who are selling it. Well, yeah, I guess MLM is accurate and we'll get there. Okay, so Michael Saylor is LuLaRoe. And he sucks at everything except for being LuLaRoe. And, I guess if Christian Bale played me, people would love me too. So he started this company called MicroStrategy in like, oh my God, right? He started this company called MicroStrategy in like something like 1987, right? And MicroStrategy makes software that sucks. And when I say they make software that sucks, I mean that up until 2020, they were net negative like $1.5 billion in their revenue, which is like, come on, dog. How do you even keep a company running that long?
Okay, wait.
What is this? Yeah.
That was such a foreign concept to me when I first got into this industry. And I vividly remember being at a launch for some metaverse thing at the Samsung headquarters in New York. And I remember talking to someone who worked there And I asked like what I thought was a pretty innocuous question because I knew they had just raised like $50 million from Samsung for this thing.
You heard somebody's fees. Let's hear it.
Yeah, kind of. I just asked like, oh, okay. I think I asked about revenue because it's the only thing I care about when it comes to like you're trying to convince me to invest in a thing. And they were like, oh, we're not even thinking about making any money yet. And I'm like, why not? And it was just like such a foreign, it was like, because we're just.
If they're not looking at making money, they're looking at enshittification, just like for the record. If they're not trying to make money, they're trying to take over the entire market and collapse it with enshittification. Like that's the only other possibility.
Everybody listening gets exactly one guess where this project is today.
Bankrupt?
Yes.
Cute.
They ran through the entire $50 million runway and it's gone.
Okay. So MicroStrategy was in 1989. MicroStrategy is 1 year younger than I am. Okay. And 9 years later, they IPO'd. They became a public company. Okay. So what's crazy about this is that, again, for another 22 years, they sucked at being a company. And then in 2020, Michael Saylor used $250 million of the company's cash, where the company sucks at making money, to buy a shit ton of Bitcoin. And he bought it at 11,600. Okay.
Sorry, what year?
That was in August 2020. So he bought 21,454 Bitcoin, and that was the first buy. Okay. And then in order to continue his gambling addiction, what he did was he started issuing convertible bonds. So what he did with these convertible bonds is that he sold them in tiers. So he sold $8.2 billion in convertible bonds, which again is like a tremendous amount of money, especially for someone who's net negative $1.4 billion in the total lifetime of their shitty fucking software company. Okay. And then what he did is he sold these bonds that pay no interest. But, and like my business partner absolutely loves how heavily papered this company is, because it is someone's opus. It is nutty. But what they can do is they can be converted into MicroStrategy stock when the stock reaches a set price. Okay. So the largest holders of these bonds are like Germany's largest insurer, Calamos Investments, which is a traditional asset manager, BlackRock. They don't own that much though, so don't get like all uppity about it. State Street is a custodian bank, also a Bitcoin ETF participant, Fidelity, Context Capital Management, a hedge fund, and the Royal Bank of Canada. Okay, so what's really fascinating about these people that bought the bonds is that mostly they bought the bonds as a hedge against the price of Bitcoin, right? And they have been basically waiting to play Michael Burry's card against him this like entire time. Okay, so they buy the convertible bond and then they short the MicroStrategy stock, and they create an incredible amount of volatility just for that. And they just get to cash in like every step of the way. And this is what happens with everybody. Okay. So he wanted to buy more Bitcoin. Michael Burry wants to buy more Bitcoin. So what he does is, he starts issuing more stock, and he thought he created like a money printing machine. But the thing is that he's only making money if the MicroStrategy stock is at a price premium to the actual price of Bitcoin. And I'm not really sure like why somebody would buy an overpriced premium coin. That's like, it's one of those things that like just doesn't click in my head. But maybe it will eventually. It's probably going to do with like hedging and trying to make it go down. So like if you're a retail buyer, do not touch this freaking garbage. It is, oh my God. Okay, so the thing is though, this is...
Can I interject just to say...
Yes, please, go ahead.
What Emily's talking about right now is exactly what Will was referring to when he was talking about the potential for MicroStrategy, or I guess now Strategy, to be delisted from the whatchamacallit index the name is escaping me now.
Oh,
It was
bro.
Morgan Stanley's index. It was almost kicked out, or it was
They
speculated
should
to
be kicked
potentially
out.
be. But so obviously it wasn't. But if it had been, and that caused the price of the stock specifically to fall a certain amount, in opposition to whatever Bitcoin was doing price wise at the time, because this was before the major cliff fall off. Then in that instance they would have had to sell their Bitcoin, or at least some of it, because of the stock tanking.
We're gonna get there. Michi's asking about the IPO docs. I like combed them, but I was relying largely on some analysts like privileged information for like this research that I did. Okay, so hang on. It gets so fucking messy. Okay, so he calls the difference in price of MicroStrategy to the price of Bitcoin yield, which is like downright fucking offensive. And then what he does is he issues more stock, but he also pays dividends on the stock. So he's not issuing the complete difference, but he is paying a dividend to the holders of it. So they feel like it's a really good thing to hold, right? This is the Ponzi, okay, right? You get in first, you get paid more. This shit is like, it is. He's like the messiest girl in high school. It is exceptional. Okay, so then what he does, then what happens with the bondholders is that because the price is so high, they're happy to convert to equity, right? They're happy to convert to MicroStrategy stock instead of demanding the cash back. And the second they demand the cash back, like they are insolvent, right? Because they have to sell Bitcoin. And the thing to note that's really important about MicroStrategy, like today, in today's numbers, is MicroStrategy owns 5% of the Bitcoin circulation. And if you've ever considered what happens if you rip 5% out of the bottom of an economy, is that it fucking collapses entirely. Okay, so what he's been doing is that he keeps issuing these like additional stocks that pay higher dividends in order to buy more Bitcoin. Like this guy has completely fucking lost the plot. So he has one called like STRK, which is an 8% dividend. And then he has STRF at 10%. And then he has STRC at 11.25%. But like the the money that comes from the sale of those stocks goes to pay the previous stock. Like it is
which
fucking
is
madness.
The textbook definition of a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, that is a Ponzi. And like I don't understand how he's getting away with this other than he's made a bunch of like exit paths. Okay. But the exit paths are dependent, but they're dependent on the price.
It's the same way that so many people get away with so many things, because so much money is now tied up in the fact that like that's why I personally like have a hard time wrapping my head around the inevitable collapse of something major like the stock market or the dollar or whatever, just because there's so much tied up in keeping it afloat that even if it was 100% kept afloat like falsely, illegitimately, that it might still, just because of how much power depends on it staying there. Like the dollar is literally as valuable as it is because we say so exclusively.
So
we'll invade you if you disagree.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's fine, right? Like,
I'm just saying that's why I have a hard time, like, visualizing the collapse of something, because it's like, at the end of the day, yeah, exactly what you're saying. Like, why is this allowed to continue? Because so many powerful, wealthy people own it.
Right? Why is Bank of America still a bank? So the thing is though, is that there's like some price point. I think it's like $122 a share. And like the last time I checked, it was $107 a share. I doubt it's gone up since though. But like if it falls below this price point, all of the people that are supposed to convert into MicroStrategy stock have the option to just call back their investment, which means that they can pay back these bonds, but they only have like $2.2 billion in reserves or something, but he's sold many billions of dollars in these bonds. So like they can run through the reserves, but the second they run out of the reserves and they have to start paying people, that's when they start liquidating Bitcoin. And as soon as they start liquidating Bitcoin, they absolutely crash the price. And if I was an investor and I was trying to hedge, what I would do is I would call back all of my investment, especially if I owned, I don't know, like 25% of it. And then I would say, actually, you have to pay me in cash. And I'm also going to short Bitcoin because I know you have to start selling Bitcoin. And he has so freaking much of it that once he starts selling it, Bitcoin absolutely freaking tanks because Michael Saylor has run through life constantly talking about how he's never going to sell a single Bitcoin. And if he sells a single Bitcoin, what is going on, right? Every one of these like retail investors who does not understand any of this is going to be like, oh shit, Michael Saylor's selling Bitcoin. I got to dump my bags. I'm going to beat him to it, right? And it goes straight to the bottom. And this is really interesting because the smartest people I know think that Bitcoin has to hit 15,000 before it can hit 200,000. And what's really interesting about it tanking all the way down is that most of like the major financial institutions that have made large investments in Bitcoin, unless it's like a literal ETF, right, which is, you know, something kind of like a stablecoin, they are gonna dump too, but it would shake them out of the market. So they would be less likely to continue the price manipulation, at least for a while. However, it smells like tulips. So like it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me, especially as a person who like is not necessarily like the thing that brought me to crypto was like the decentralized data and, you know, programmatic like foundations that we have, right? Like the emergent technology of crypto, but that's like specifically to programmable chains, which is like, you know, since the advent of ETH, it's not really Bitcoin. Bitcoin, when people call it digital gold, it very much is digital gold, right? It's burned real energy and it's burned real hardware in order for it to come into existence. And that's kind of what it does, right? It's like got its ledger, but that's its thing. It's hard to get. Therefore, it is expensive, and people also want it. I mean, you can't like take it and stick it into a computer to make it conduct really well, but that's, you know, who cares? So, yeah, the thing that's really crazy to me is like it just feels like a significant portion of the economy in general is standing on top of popsicle sticks, and I have to assume that these major investors are mostly doing it to hedge because they have such a good such a tremendous amount of this stuff. But like, yeah, I mean, if they choose to play this game and they choose to get out and cash out, which is something we've talked about before with like the Genius Act and how it could create massive amounts of instability, because like even if we rebound, there is going to be a huge period of instability. Like that sounds appetizing to me. That's something I would do.
Sorry, you caught me right in the middle of answering it. There was
I don't know, how are you doing it? But yeah, maybe because I talked too long.
You got to remember, this is your 10th episode doing this. This is my 700th.
Yeah, practice. But I used to do this, whatever.
So the comment that I was just typing back was someone was talking about one of the safes, you know, the safe Bitcoin, SafeMoon, safe whatever. And I just remembered that I saw this morning that the SafeMoon, the ex-SafeMoon CEO, just got sentenced. Did you see that?
Oh, SafeMoon, yes. And like, what was it? Luna? That was a funny one too.
That was a good one. What's his
I like
face?
when we get to see the tattoo that one guy got. That's fun.
What was his name? He had such a frat boy name. Yeah, Braden Caroni.
Good Lord. I can only picture him with like a mushroom cut and like blonde tips.
No, he looks like I saw a picture of him on Twitter earlier. He looks like
Do you think he still has Junko jeans? I hope he does.
No. He looks like oh my God, I can't believe I'm blanking on this dude's name. You know, like spiky, short, blonde hair frat guy. Definitely don't want to like accept a drink from this guy.
Like the lead singer of Sum 41.
No, like literally like a guy that you should not take a cocktail from at a frat party. Like absolutely.
Yeah.
Not. Anyway,
I would
he got 8 years in prison.
Anyways, wow, that sucks for him.
Yep, for defrauding investors, and he was ordered to pay $7.5 million in restitution, which seems low.
Man, he's got that. He's for sure got that.
Okay.
Unless he spent it all. Do you think he spent it all?
Oh my God, yeah, absolutely.
Like spent though, or like scrolled it away?
This is not a responsible individual. I mean, no, you're probably right. You're probably right. I'm sure there was heavy spending, but I'm sure there's a lot hiding elsewhere.
Right? Because like, don't you gotta? Isn't there like a paranoia that comes with like rapid wealth generation? I don't know. What do I know?
Yeah.
It's never happened to me. I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, there's a lot of statistics about that. Actually, one of the most interesting people I've ever met, and this is a testament to how little I know about sports. He is very famous. No longer, he's retired now, but was in the NBA for a very long time. Played. Oh my God, he was literally like on the Lakers. I'll have to look. He runs a charity now that is almost exclusively focused on helping young professional athletes not lose everything immediately.
Huh.
Because so many of them
Interesting.
do. Yeah, it was really interesting.
My God, I'm so bad at sports ball stuff. But
I'll find it.
There's no. There's a guy who grew up in Oakland and he like played for the Seahawks or something for like freaking ever, and then he retired. Marshawn Lynch, and Marshawn Lynch is notorious for never spending his NFL salary. He only ever spent his sponsorship deals. So he's just like pocketed all of it or like invested. He probably has like whatever. And you know, what's kind of criminal is a ton of these like agents, these like sports agents are actually billing themselves now as someone who's also a financial advisor. So they'll like help you not lose everything. But like, is that not in your best interest? I don't know. It seems like a huge conflict of interest to me, whatever. Yeah. So
it was Bridgman. His name is incredible. I guess more like commonly known as Junior Bridgman, but it's Ulysses Bridgman. He was in the NBA for 12 years from the 70s to the 80s.
Why don't we have Ulysses anymore? It's not like Adolf.
Owns a ton of restaurants, and then he runs this nonprofit. There was a comment that popped up while you were talking just about, you know, some of the things that contribute to the, I don't know, I guess the ability for this stuff to continue to exist and to persist. From Cosmic just said loose regulation, which I think is spot on, because not only do we have a tremendous amount of rules in place, but none of them are for the things that they need to be for. And that's one of like my biggest beefs with the bills that we're just currently staring down the barrel of, because just recently, you know, while we're focused on making sure that we continue to blame Senate Democrats, and I just want to be very clear when I say that I blame Senate Democrats for a lot of stuff, but not this one thing. Recently, an amendment was given the ultimate kibosh from our fearless leader himself, because the amendment proposed limiting the ability of the president while in office to engage in crypto-specific businesses.
No, that was Lizzie. Yeah, I saw that one. That's true.
Why this is not a rule is deeply upsetting, and every single person should be pissed that that's not a rule.
The reason it's not a rule is because
corruption.
I mean, it's not corruption. I mean, I don't know.
Tomato.
I forget what the definitive difference is, but like, is it corruption when it's legal? Does it have to be illegal to be corruption, or is it just like amoral at that point?
Yes.
But no. I mean, no. Like, I mean, like, definitively, does corruption?
Yes. So I don't actually.
Does it have to fit into the law? I don't know.
I don't care quite as much about like what on paper. This is going to sound weird, but just give me a second. I don't care as much, especially when we're talking about money. I don't care as much about what on paper is considered illegal and legal as much as I care about like what is just shitty. Because if you think about things that are technically legal, we would have to talk about like the tax code, and there's nothing good about that.
I looked it up just for funsies. Corruption does not have to be illegal, so we're safe. Definitely. It's okay, so like it's absolutely insane. And like I think the most insane part about it just kind of like points to the complete collapse of the social contract, in that it never had to be a law before, because no single person that's ever held the office of the president would ever have considered enriching themselves off the American people and endangering the American people to enrich themselves off questionable foreign relationships just to make themselves richer. Everybody up until very recently was like, oh my God, are you kidding? I would never. And like, it was never a law that you had to turn over your tax returns. They just did it in the spirit of transparency. And all of a sudden, because it wasn't a law, they're like, we should have made that a law. And like, nobody wants to make it a law. I don't know. I feel like all the Supreme Court justices should be in prison. Anywho.
Yep. On that note, yeah, I don't know. It's an inherently and deeply flawed system when the only people who have the potential to create a rule to prevent massive financial conflicts of interest are the people who have the conflicts of interest, and absolutely nobody else gets to say anything about what their rules are. It is insane that we are this far into the government existing and they still make all of their own rules. And we're all just like, why hasn't this been fixed yet? You have one guess. So here's guess.
The best case scenario is that what I predict about the Genius Act will happen, and we will collapse the dollar. And then crypto also collapses alongside as people run to try to get their monies. And then there is a huge upheaval, and we have another constitutional convention and fix all the garbage.
And it turns out the answer was Beanie Babies.
No, actually, it's Labubu. It's a Labubu Beanie Baby hedge. But like, I was saying something about this earlier, and then it escaped me. My meds are wearing off. It
happens.
It's just like, oh my God, I'm toast, man. It's crazy. I just can't believe that with the delicate structure that was erected in order to prevent any single branch of government from becoming too powerful, this is where we've landed. Like, it's so crazy to me. I can't truly grasp it. And like, I know I'm such a nihilist about this stuff, and like, I don't know, I'm not as naive as I used to be about any of it, but like, it can be better, man. I just can't believe so many people walk around trying to like helicopter their little wieners, talking about how masculine they are, and they can't stand up to their big bully who smells like dirty diapers, apparently. It's wild to me. Like
there's a lot of ingredients in that soup.
But like,
it was made over the course of the last 100 years.
Well, no, like 50. Come on. But yeah,
sure.
Like I think people like, you know, as soon as you point out like Reagan, people like to go back and be like, no, it was like when we lost the gold standard. And like, this is definitely what we're talking about next week when we have book club, which is a thing we're doing, and the book is on our website, and it's The Mystery of Capital by Hernando de Soto. But like, we need capital as a tool in order to provide and support the needs of the population of the planet. Like, that is 100% true. We could not exist as a society at the current number of people that we have without capitalism and capital as a tool. It would not work at this scale. But like, you have to do it in a way that doesn't overly enrich other people. And like, the only socialism we truly have is corporate socialism. Like, this whole thing is just, it's so wacky to have somebody standing up there and being like, that's bad. You don't want people to live and get healthcare. And you're like, you get a huge tax cut for the healthcare that you charge your employees for. This is nuts.
There's two. You have corporate socialism, and then you also have the number one selling point for getting people to enlist in the military is that if you do this, we will give you socialism.
Yes, the military is a great source of alleged socialism, but is actually like deeply fucked up.
Flagrant. It's right there. That's the whole thing. That's the entire brochure.
No, I know, but after you it becomes very hard to access, right? Like the care is really limited. There's a bunch of things that like you can take advantage of, and there's a bunch of things that like, oh my God, are a mess.
I mean, maybe. I guess I could only speak anecdotally, but in my experience,
sure, yeah,
it was unbelievably easy.
Sure. I mean, yeah, well, you're very smart.
I just mean, using
the system gets hard for people. Yeah.
Having access to resources on base and housing and all these different resources and all these offices with people who just know stuff that you can go and schedule an appointment to sit down with and find a free financial planner. Like all this stuff, it all exists. And that's the whole shtick.
Except in a quarter zip under a suit jacket is a very fun visual.
We have I have one thing just to put on everybody's radar as we wind down here. So next week there are two things happening. One, we do have supposedly an episode of Trust Issues that I'm trying to figure out exactly the logistics of, because it's also ETH Denver week and I'm flying on Tuesday. And I should. Oh. Well, here's the thing. It's an earlier flight, and Evan will already be at the Airbnb, and he should already have most stuff set up, Evan. So in theory, it's going to work. But we might all need to brace ourselves to potentially punt it 1 week. Because if I can't run the entire thing, then it can't happen.
Oh, I got to change the website, man.
Oh my God.
I got to figure out how to connect it to my calendar so it'll like auto update. I think I could do that. It's fine. It gives more people time to read the book that I'm sure they haven't read yet. So I'm going to sit there a movie, and I don't know if Hernando de Soto is a movie persona, and I think people would be, I don't know, maybe a documentary. There could be a documentary.
So if saw a couple of comments. If you guys are going to be in Denver, let me know. We will be there. All of us will be there. We're running the show from the ground for the week. We'll be in there I'll be there from the 17th to the 21st. Evan's going to be there a day or two longer in either direction, and then Will be there as well. And then if you miss that one, the next conference that for sure we're going to be at is in Miami, May 5, 6, and 7. We will be at Consensus. That's one that I refuse to miss, so I'll be there for that. Everything else is kind of up in the air. Denver
still hold their conference in like the cattle auction facility? I
believe so.
My God, what a unique smelling place. At least it's not in the summer. That would be horrific.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It was a good setup. I mean, I think they do a great job.
You got to go down to the hackathon is where it smells.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was. Our friends at Aptos were one of the headline sponsors for the hackathon last year. We were down there for a little while.
You didn't think it smelled like cattle poop?
Mm-mm.
Maybe they came up with a new system to clean it up. I think last time I was there was like 23.
I'll have to say too that I do not know for sure if it's in the same spot. I would have to ask Evan. Because that last year was my first ETH Denver. Interestingly, I do Consensus every year, but I went to that one for the first time last year.
I think, as an aside, I think crypto as an industry needs a better format that isn't a trade show. I don't feel like it doesn't fit us. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. I think that some better than others for sure. Like I've been to a lot.
Well, so I've been to many as well. And here's the thing. I've also been to many like trade shows as like or conferences in like my corporate, whatever life. And like it's like a good way to get a sticker in front of me, but it's like a crazy way to evangelize for a brand, because like it's such a high overhead and the interactions are so like insincere. And also in like crypto, rarely would a company be paying for an individual to like sponsoring someone to go. Like it happens, people get sponsored, but the most of the audience or most of the people that are there are people trying to like learn about it. And it's like, that's just like not the format I would like. It seems like a better format to educate in would be something like, oh, this is like a traveling course that's going to land in all the different UCs in the UC system, or like, I don't know.
You kind of have to just, you got to know like which ones are just simply not worth going to. And like, for example, I would say that no Bitcoin conference is really worth going to, because that's the vibe. You have exactly two things there. People who have never been to one before, and then the rest is either like self-custody solutions or miners, at like, you know, people who sell miners. And then that's kind of it. And then the rest of it is just like cringe and hokey. But the ones that are like the most interesting, honestly, are the like Ethereum wide, like ETH, the ETH World Fair, ETH Denver, like these things that aggregate a giant amount of people building stuff in one spot. That's the most interesting. And ETH Denver isn't only Ethereum, everything is there. But like the Ethereum World Fair and Dev Connect specifically, that's one, like a Korean Blockchain Week is very similar. It's a similar kind of vibe. There's like a, you know, there's like a whole ZK thing that happens in Thailand every year. And it's just, but like those are the things that are the most interesting, because the people that are there are the deeply serious ones about the industry. And so depending on what you go there for, like if I go through the lens of media every time, the conversations are really good because everybody is there to talk to media. They want to be, they paid $100,000 for their table there, and they're not going to get anything out of it at the conference. So they need to be on a screen somewhere.
Yeah, like you don't want to be a speaker. You want to, I guess like, okay, so like I do, I don't know, maybe it does make sense. Maybe it's like, it's one of those things that's just not the right place for a retail investor. I don't know. I mean, like when I was going was when I was trying to like raise for my company, and then I gave up raising. I would actually company, and then I
push back on that specifically and say that if you are an investor, you should go to at least one, but not a Bitcoin conference. It's going to be a waste of your time and money. Go to one of the consensus permissionless ETH Denver, one of those that is like more multi-chain, and find people that are working for things that you're investing in, and just ask them questions, and then stop investing in whatever that thing is. I think it's an incredibly valuable experience for someone who is an investor. I would say for sure. Do not pay to go to the conference.
No, well, that's what I'm thinking. Like in my head, it's like, well, $1,500 to go like walk around a place that smells like cow.
Well, and ETH Denver is free to go to. It's free.
You have to join the DAO.
It takes 5 seconds. You can use a burner email address, and
it's no big deal. But like you have to join the DAO.
Join the DAO.
I wish that there was a better, okay, so like I think of it from this perspective. Real brand loyalty does not come from talking to the company, and it doesn't come from talking to, or from like seeing a commercial. It comes from like a peer-to-peer trust experience. And like, you know, like it's a network effect, and like having your, what's it called? Your community related to your company is a very valuable asset. And like, I think arguably maybe Apple has like one of the best product communities out there, but like car communities are also like super passionate. But I guess like Apple is as close as we get, where people are just like absolutely obsessed with your brand and your product, and like it is so hard to knock them off course. And if you do offend these people that like understand your product deeply, then you have absolutely fucked up. Like you have done something so egregious to like do something to upset these people that know so much. And like the smart companies are in the forums and in the, you know, chat rooms and on the subreddits talking about this stuff and the things they love and the things they want to see and the things right? Like that's how it goes on. And like crypto's tricky because crypto's decentralized, or it's meant to be decentralized. And that leaves you to be a community member for either, what is a decentralized community or a self-governed community, or for a major player who is doing things that are maybe getting them pardons from the office of the president. I don't know. Or building a relationship in Abu Dhabi. So like it's like a weird, I don't know, like liminal space, more or less, right? Where you're like, how, and like the thing is, there is no equivalent in I don't go to like the Ameritrade conference because I'm like huge on their product for my 401k. That's insane.
Nah, but it's not. I don't think it's really the same.
It's not like quite the same, but like it's.
I don't know. Also like so much of this is about, as silly as it's going to sound, so much of this is about the vibe, and it's a culture thing. Like it.
I mean, they should just sponsor music festivals.
Like these things exist. If you go to any of these conferences, like it exists that there are workshops and there's like things you can sign up for and you can go into. And like of the people who attend, 3% go to the workshops. More people than would go to the hackathon. Totally. Then there's also the speeches, and I've never gone to like a single presentation because they're all going to be on YouTube for free, and I'm going to see the highlights on Twitter. And why would I waste my time? I'm there to
it used to be like during Twitter Spaces or.
I'm just there to go out to dinner and all the side events with all the people that I'm trying to work with. It's just a networking stage. That's
like what I used to do basically, but so yeah. But like it makes sense for you and like for what I'm so anywho.
Oh, it's a necessity for media. But okay, so I will keep everybody posted throughout the week as we get there, and then stay tuned for next Tuesday. But it's yes.
We're gonna find out who the market maker is for USD1 at Binance. I'm gonna dig. I'm gonna go find it.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what you come up with.
It's not that like, I mean, I know how to find it. I just don't want to do it looking at your computer through like the
that's
live stream on YouTube. That's insane.
Any final thoughts, final words of wisdom and music anecdotes as we ride off into the sunset?
No, we talked about Sum 41. We talked about Wet Leg. We talked about Otis Redding, right? We talked about...
Yes, and Etta James.
Okay. There's a wide swath there. I guess my God, XRP. That's a funny joke. XRP.
I think the only thing worse...
That's like the easiest way to make me laugh.
I think the only thing worse than going to a Bitcoin conference would be going to an XRP conference. That would be diabolical.
Dude, you don't have to go to an XRP conference. You just got to get in the back of a cab.
Exactly. It's the one that my Uber driver is going to ask me about on my way to the venue in Denver next week.
Dude, one of the people that I help with crypto asked me if I had heard of some like financial theory, something that's supposed to happen at like the end of February, and I like was digging and digging and digging through every credible news source I could find until I just like literally gave up and asked AI, and I was like, what is going on? And they're like, oh, it's talking about a conspiracy theory that has no basis in reality. And then he sends me a link to like the influencer that likes to talk about this thing all the time. And this guy, like I couldn't he calls himself Coach something, and I can't remember anything else about him other than he had like a gross looking beard. And I like start looking at his stuff and like everything this guy says, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? So like nothing you say makes any sense.
It doesn't have to make sense. The point of it is not to make sense.
Oh, it's crazy. Oh my God. It's so many followers. I was like, so that's not real. And there is no math behind it, and there's no policy behind it, and there's no evidence behind. Like it's just someone smelling their own farts, man. I was like,
it's never mattered, and it never will matter.
Anyways, ethics in journalism, being a journalist, it's a trade. You need to go to school for it because there's things you learn in school, like how to not make shit up.
Details.
Oh, man.
Anyway, I will see all of you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. And tomorrow
I thought you were going to say Tuesday, and I was like, maybe Tuesday, maybe.
No, maybe. We'll see. But tomorrow morning, we are actually going to be hosting two of our friends, James from DeFi Carrot and Dara from Gauntlet. And we're going to talk about just the so both of their products mitigate risk for DeFi users throughout tumultuous market times. And we're going to talk about how well everything fared through the last large scale market crash. And I'm pretty excited about it. So
I was checking DeFi Carrot today.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they sailed straight through it. So did all of the Gauntlet products. So did Hilo. Every single one of the Hilo products killed it. So
And yeah,
we'll be there with all them tomorrow morning. That's for the morning show. They'll both be with us 8 a.m. Eastern. And then of course,
will you ask a
tomorrow
question for me? Will you ask DeFi Carrot if they've shorted MicroStrategy in some capacity?
I'm waiting right now for turbo short. So I'm going to ask about that.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll see you guys all bright and early tomorrow morning, and then hopefully also tomorrow evening for After Dark. And then we'll be back Thursday, and then we travel. So next week, the show will be from Denver. Evan will be there Monday. I will follow him there on Tuesday. I believe Will is also flying on Tuesday. And then we'll see you guys hopefully all throughout the week. So until then.
I hate the cold.
And yep, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks everyone for hanging out. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
How do I leave?
You don't have